Welcome to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain. We got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in a question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we're gonna hit you with them stone cold facts and allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to Masters of the Nerdiverse, where we always have such sights to show you. This Epcot Center of a podcast can always be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me, as always, is the co-host that's the ghost, kind of, Winter Trash Monk the Thizard.
There you go. That's my name. Hello, I'm Winter. Trash Monk the Third. That's Trash Monk III. That's Trash Monk III! And I'm coming at you on the interwebs with Mike G.
On the internet. Yeah, man.
Yeah, how is everything over in Dollywood, or what do they call it? Babe, what is the term that they use?
I don't know.
Dollhouse, or
what? You mean
the Valley of the Dolls? I don't know.
You mean the
Tinseltown? That's what I'm trying to think of.
Tinseltown?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Dollhouse, the Elijah Dushku vehicle directed by Josh Whedon.
All right, you're hosting a nerd podcast. You don't need to keep throwing your nerd card out.
You said Dollhouse, it made me think of that failed TV show that was on Fox.
I meant Tinseltown. Any celebrity sightings over there?
I saw Kobe Bryant picking his nose at a Starbucks the other day.
And there you have it. We're like TMZ.
Yeah, man, we hunt down the scoops, which means we follow these poor people around and don't allow them true lives. This is what we do.
Kobe Bryant, are you going back? Are you going back to basketball? Kobe Bryant.
He's like, can I just get this cold cut combo, my man? Like,
well, they retire your number, Kobe Bryant. Did they retire his number?
I'm sure they did.
Okay.
I'm sure they did. He is one of the best around.
Yeah, they closed that number just as quickly. No, I'm not going there.
Ooh.
All right. So, how was your week?
The bird will never know. From
nope.
Winter Thizard. My week, my man. It was an interesting week, to say the least. Had to watch a bunch of movies I really didn't want to watch. Some were new, some were old, but
you had to watch movies you didn't have to watch.
I had to watch movies I didn't have to watch. I didn't want to watch, but I had to watch them.
Why?
It's a conundrum. The audience will find out soon enough.
Okay.
Outside of watching a ton of really good and really bad movies, I finally got my little grubby hands on a PSVR. Got to see what that was like.
Pretty exciting stuff, eh?
Yeah, I was like, I put it on and I was like, I'm in the future, and like someone threw some like Monster Energy drink down my throat, and I started coughing, and they were shaking my chair when I was playing F-Zero or whatever. Like the future. I couldn't handle too much sensation at once. It was freaking me out. Future. It was really rough. And they pulled me out after an hour. I sweated like 30 pounds off my body. Dude. It was intense, my man. I kind of don't want to do it again. To be honest, my dude.
Now, how much do you think VR is fueled by drug companies like LSD?
There's two really nefarious companies that fuel VR, augmented reality, 3D. Yeah. And that's drug companies and, of course, the adult film industry.
Okay, I have a funny story to tell you about that. So I've had my finger on the pulse of tech ish. Okay, that's a lie. News stories come my way, and I kind of just tell people all around me, like, mark your words. The adult industry already has an answer for it.
Absolutely.
This happened way long time ago when the first signs of like robots were coming out. And like it was before that, like A&E show Humans and all that. And I remember working, like painting a wall, and then I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about this robot who can make faces. And I go, that's going to be used as a sex doll in like 3 months.
Easy, yeah.
And then sure enough, they announced like not just a sex doll, but the sex doll that can be disappointed at you.
Oh man, the one where you don't perform up to caliber does?
Yeah, so real life. So the next thing that happened was VR, where people were going, this is the greatest thing that happened. Like, no, you just made people put a headset on to watch pornography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make me think of a story back in the day on the Blu-ray versus HD DVD battle, and why Blu-ray won. And the only reason that Blu-ray won that battle was because it was the early adapter for pornography.
Yeah,
before HD DVD, and the sales skyrocketed so fast that it just blew HD DVD out the water, and Blu-ray just very handedly won that arms race for that split second it was going on. It's very fascinating stuff, man. It's really crazy.
It is very crazy. The whole porn biz is super crazy. It's like one of those things that everyone's like, I'm kosher, baby, with it, or like, but totally not wanting to accept like repercussions or things that happen in the underground world, or like how people get their start now in the biz is pretty crazy. Yeah,
it's a business, man. You know. Like any business, there's room for folly. You know what I'm saying? You know,
right? But it's one of those weird culture things of like, ew, you're gonna sell your kidney for money? That's gross. And then it's like flash forward to Silicon Valley or whatever.
Yeah, it's like you know, to give like a sports equivalent, you know, you start young and eager and you're a rookie, and next thing you know, you blow your ACL.
Oh my gosh. Okay, people that I know that listen to the podcast, I did not tell him to say I do not approve.
Infer what you like. I didn't say anything nasty. Infer what you like. I'm just saying.
Infer what you like.
Careers are ended early for, you know, accidents of the business, man.
Sick business that makes a lot of money.
It makes tons and billions of dollars. But hey, I digress, man. How was your week, dude?
Pretty good. You know, today I kind of like wanted to burn the building down, but then at the very last second, this woman said that I've been hearing good things about what you've been doing at work. So I'm like, thank you. I'm not going to burn the building down today.
Good.
Monday was super productive. As you know, I sent you a draft of one project that wasn't that had some grammar issues that I found out when I was reading it to somebody. And then I have the rough draft done of the second part, and I'm thinking about what the third part's going to be.
Gotta love the creative process, my man.
Yeah, mysterious
secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that picked up.
No.
Good.
But yeah, that's been pretty good. I've been hopping on Discord and playing Rocket League with a old friend of mine, and we've been killing it. And it's just a good time to live. I like the style of clothing back from the 50s, but I do not want to live back in the 50s.
No, you know, like for who I am and what I am,
Yeah.
time travel is not the business, dude. I'm okay right where I'm at. Like I could go forward in future, but I don't want to go back to the future for no reason.
No,
dude.
I'm too much of a cynic about what the future is going to be like. I don't want to see what actually is going to happen.
I just want to pop in for a split second. And I just see a poster of our ant overlords like on a building, and I just would duck back in. I go, no.
Yes. So
let's go back.
I'll give you a review of a film that I saw recently. It's a short film. I can't specify where I saw it or not, or where I saw it, but essentially it's a 20-minute Twilight Zone movie where it depicts what would happen if gay people were the majority. Gay couples were like the normal thing, and straight couples were like the, hey, get away from me.
Right.
And I know I'm on thin ice over here. Everybody relax.
Hey, man, just do your thing.
Do your thing, man.
Thing, man.
There, I had a few questions because like it's weird because it's going into, they're trying to give a social message as well as trying to use a lot of sci-fi jargon in here.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind first went, like, the question is supposed to be like, this is what would the world be like if this would happen? And my mind automatically went, well, I don't imagine there would be a lot of people running around.
Well, no, man, because then if it's sci-fi, then I don't want to go into the dark. My brain can go with some, no, I'm not even going to touch that. What I will say is that it reminds me of a movie back in the day called White Man's Burden. Do you remember that?
No, I did not. That sounds like a propaganda film.
It's a sci-fi / like racial message film with, I think, John Travolta and I think Sam Jackson is in it, but I could be wrong. Where the social standards were reversed, and it was the black man that was the actual kind of quote unquote majority, and the white man was the minority, and like John Travolta was this white guy in the hood, on food stamps, right. And like Sam Jackson was like the hoity-toity businessman, and it was just a weird flip, kind of like Blight. You know how Blight was?
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is fantasy, but it's like L.A. quote unquote still, even though things wouldn't shake out that way if time. Anyway, I don't want to think about it too much, but it reminds me of White Man's Burden. If you've never seen that movie, I'm not saying check it out because I can't remember if it's good or not. I don't want you to hold that on me, but just know that movie exists and reminds me of what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it sounds very similar. I've been taking like quotes from the movie and telling them to my roommate where he'll say something and then I go, "You're just a filthy breeder." That would be something that they would call people in the film, and And like the question I did have, it was like very true, like how the population size with this change, and then they do explain that in this world there is a season of breeding that is allowed.
Gross. Like allowed?
Yes. Like
you can't do it outside
like
of this
purge
season?
level. To me, it sounded like purge level rules, where there's like one day.
You got a month.
One day.
You got a month.
That this could happen.
You got
yes. Which then begs the question, like, are they bisexual or not? But anyways, and so this film it centers around a teenage girl who's having feelings for a boy, and one of the like trashiest movie tropes ever that I've seen ends with the teen girl killing herself.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
That old chestnut. Yeah, and it's like, really, guys?
Well,
I know that does happen. That does happen. There's a high percentage. Yeah. But you're making a film where people will call out tropes if they see them. And the reason why I think this film did not get tropes called out is because the group I was with was virtue signaling. But we'll move on from that. Like they didn't want to call out the film because then they would get targeted as they didn't like the message of the film. Anyways, but
I get it, and I understand that is the film itself as a creation is a slippery slope already. So to have any overly negative or any overly positive criticism of the film is going to garner a reaction. Right. You know what I mean, from either party.
So and I could see this as a good HBO series myself.
It's like some things you just can't cinema sin. You know what I mean? To quote the guys that awesome YouTube
like
channel.
aren't they making like a Confederacy won the Civil War HBO show?
I think so. Then that just sounds like a hot mess. But yeah, there's always those things like that one show I want to say where the Nazis won World War II.
Oh,
and it flashed forward.
Man in the Iron Castle in the High Castle.
Yeah, mine in the High Castle, Tower, something like that. So I find those things interesting. You know what I mean? Like these little kind of what if, like you said, Twilight Zone-y outcomes. But yeah, I just think it's hopefully their message wasn't lost in the tropes.
It wasn't lost because it was so heavy-handed that if you lost the message, it was because you fell asleep.
Oh, it's one of those where it wasn't subtle at all. That's the opposite of losing of losing the trope, is that it's cloaked over your neck like a wet rag. Anywho, you want to get into this?
Yeah, let's get to the news. That's the. Please do not write on Twitter. Winter bashes gay film.
No, man, we're equal opportunity love of nerd stuff here, my man. It's one big hug, my dude. You can't hug with nuclear arms.
What?
I need to say something so I can segue into the news.
Tomorrow, the day of mourning for the President Bush who died.
Oh man, that's a loaded. Dude, you're killing me right now. That's a loaded thing to start with. There is some news attached to that. Is that because of the day of mourning, Marvel was supposed to release the Avengers 4 trailer tomorrow, but they're not going to because it's the day of mourning. And it's not out of respect for the past president. It's because the Wall Street will be closed, and they want their big boom from Wall Street after they drop this crazy trailer. So they're not going to be putting out any trailer tomorrow.
That's very sad, actually.
It's business. Yeah,
because I could just see it. But, some guy just like licking his lips, like, Disney's not going to throw Marvel's not going to throw the Avengers trailer out because they're so patriotic. Meanwhile, it's Marvel like just counting millions of dollars. Oh, we gotta wait until Wall Street's open.
All the chairmen look at the number cruncher. They all turn their heads at the same time, and he just does the next slice. Like, nah.
They just have on repeat "We're in the money."
Yeah. They Kevin Feige opens a door and it's just the Scrooge McDuck vault where he just swims in coins and cuts his body up because that's impractical. Speaking of trailers, did you watch the new Captain Marvel trailer that dropped yesterday?
No, I didn't, but I'll tell you what I did instead.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I watched a podcast that was talking about Lion King, which is another Disney franchise. And I'll talk about what they had to say and a good point that they made, but you should talk about the trailer first.
Yes, let's go into this trailer just so we don't get totally sidetracked. It's Captain Marvel. I'm trying hard to like garner like extreme hype because it is a pretty trailer, and it pretty much, Sam Jackson is so good at talking that it just explains to you in the most elementary fashion ever. It's like the trailer opens up with, so the Skrulls are the bad guys and the Kree are the good guys. And it's just this so basic, like, I know these words are alien to you, audience, literally alien to you, but we're going to dumb it down so speak and spell that you will understand it by the end of this trailer. And I hate that. It's like, I get it, because you have to market to 5-year-olds and 50-year-olds at the same time and everything in between. But at the same time, it's like, is there anything to be said about the visual medium that could have been explained visually? You know what I mean? Like, do you have to spell it out? Like, Jedi are the good guys, the Sith are the bad guys. Blue means good, red means bad.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you have to spell it out? So, like we were talking about earlier with subtlety and like just, you know, heavy-handedness. It's like, this trailer is so heavy-handed, it just bothers me. It's a good trailer. It was nice, but it just, the message that comes with that trailer is just so overly it's chewed up baby food. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it slides down your throat. Like, there's no work whatsoever. You know, it's the worst. Sorry, that was a gross visual, but I don't care. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and it bothers me.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I think there's a tightrope that companies have to make when making comic book movies of dumbing down certain lore, or like what goes on, like this entire history of a hero, and like choosing like what to focus on. To me, that is very daunting at a sense, and it sounds like Captain Marvel is going to the extreme of going like, these are good, these are bad. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to know, and let's move on.
It's introducing a lot of new stuff. It's introducing what a Kree is, what a Skrull is. It's introducing Marvel before I Am Iron Man. You know what I mean? It takes place in the 90s, which is not so heavy in this trailer. It's not very 90s, this trailer, which I'm also happy with. Like, you don't have to beat us over the head that it's 90s. We get it. I just hope the soundtrack isn't stupid. You know what I mean? It just opens with like West Side Connection or something. Really, like, just beat you over the head. 90s opens with Bop or something. But it was overall a pretty good trailer. The graphics still need a little bit of work. I'm still not sold on Brie Larson, because she still just seems a bit stiff. You know what I mean? As the person who's going to carry this film. The Sam Jackson,
maybe that's part of her lore.
Technology.
Maybe her lore is that she has a fused spine.
Right. But you know what? How long did it take Chris Hemsworth to really get into Thor? It took him a while, because he was very stiff at first as well. You know what I'm saying? The first Thor film, it took him a long while. But I think that
there's some director issues going on with that. Chris Hemsworth not getting good feedback. I think it took Thor Ragnarok really to
loosen him completely up, because he's amazing in Infinity War. Like, he's really good. Like, and Chris Hemsworth as an actor, I think is underrated. I think he's
the
pretty
Cabin
versatile guy. You know, The Cabin in the Woods. Yeah. And he's going to be in the new Men in Black, which is
the new
weird.
Men in what?
They're making a new Men in Black, and he's going to be like in that with I forget her name, but she played Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Sony.
So just a quick side, because it's connected to Disney. The podcast was Film House. It's Funhouse's film review, and they were going through Lion King. And it was funny because one of the Funhouse members kept like pointing out certain like scenes from Disney that they don't want people to know about nowadays, like the Dumbo crows, the Asian cat from the Aristocats. And every time he would show a clip of that, he would go, and they fired James Gunn. That sort of thing. And someone made a great point that the reason why they're making all these remakes, live actions, is because they want people to engage with these stories, but not have the I think we can safely call racist cartoon elements with it.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because I was actually listening to another podcast, and I believe it was the Super Best Friend Cast, which is something that's inspired this channel so much. Those guys are awesome. But they made an interesting point that, there's a whole generation of kids who don't really know where Ariel comes from.
Yeah.
They know who Ariel
From
is,
Kingdom Hearts.
but they never watched the Kingdom Hearts, right? They know who Mulan is, but they don't know they don't know what source material they never saw the movie. Like they never saw, Cinderella or Snow White. So this is an easy way to rope in these new humans who never had a chance to watch the original source material, either be their parents never showed it to them, or they just know who these characters are through osmosis. And I think like the new Wreck-It Ralph movie is a testament to that, where it's like, they know who Frozen is, they know who Tangled is, but would a 5-year-old really know like who Anastasia is? Or,
These are good things that nerds should be debating about with a nice bottle of Monster and brandy.
That's a
drinking
rough mix,
with their vape pens.
They're sipping the Monster through the vape pen. You're just gonna die, Doug.
But let's get back. That we can call that MOTN news editorial. Yeah.
The editorial, yes. The liner notes, as it were. We're still stuck on Disney because Lucasfilm reveals their Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures animated series.
Here comes the money.
It's coming out soon. And here comes the money. They don't care, dude. It's like Disney. And here's the thing: the animation looks good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The trailer, the animation looks smooth, but it's Disney. If they're gonna do anything right, it's gonna be the animation, right? That's the one thing.
Yeah,
you have to get
I've
right.
seen some. I'm trying to remember some movies of theirs that I didn't quite like the animation. But
nothing 90s and down, I hope.
No. It's definitely newer.
Yeah,
I can't remember any. Oh,
no worries. It's just I'm okay with like I said, like they need to reintroduce this marketing material to the younger audience in a digestible fashion. Maybe cartoons or live action films. And for some reason, the live action films make a ton of money. So what do you do with Star Wars? They tried everything. They tried Rebels, which was pseudo successful. They tried Clone Wars, which has a huge cult following.
Yeah,
but I don't know how much money it made them.
I'm gonna have to watch that one of these days as a Star Wars apologist myself.
There's two Clone Wars. There's the Gendy. There's I forget. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's last name, but he's the guy who did Samurai Jack. He did a Clone Wars series, which was ultra good. And then there's the CG version that recently came out with Ahsoka and CG animation hijinks. But yeah, the Clone both of them are good in their own right. But I would definitely recommend the Clone Wars series, and I'm really interested to see what interesting takes they take with this new adventures, this Galaxy Adventure stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's essentially these animated they're taking the old trilogies, the old films, and animating them. That's what they are.
That's really it? That's really it?
Yeah. I thought you knew.
Exactly what I'm talking about. You know that. I thought it was like some different take or something.
No, they're taking the audio from... so I'll still be to press your bubble here.
Are you for real?
Yeah, from what I've heard, and it's also from the same podcast I was talking about, they're taking the old... they are pretty much taking the old video, the old trilogy and the prequel. I believe they're dividing them up in certain sections,
in episodes. Probably
taking audio, and taking the audio, then making some crazy animations, and then putting the audio back. So it's pretty much an animated version of the movies.
So it's like taking a D&D campaign and animating it to the voices. That's what they're doing.
Well, I would be more charitable than that, but
so you're going to be getting Carrie Fisher, Peter Cushing, all these cats who've already passed away. Their voices are going to be set to animation. So there's no originality to this whatsoever.
There is originality in the art. That's what I'm saying.
I guess the fight scenes can be a bit more insane if you're doing it animation wise.
That's what I'm saying. That I watched the trailer for this a couple of times, and it definitely captures more of the like fantastic side of things in the Star Wars universe, where when he lightsaber is turned on, it like blows the hair back of Luke Skywalker, or when people are yelling, it's like a motion comic book sort of thing. I like the idea. I because I'm Star Wars can do because I love the Star Wars movies. I think
I do too. I just thought they were going to do something new with the original trilogy, like the in between stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were going to do something like that. I didn't know they were just taking literally the voiceover work from the original trilogy and the prequels.
Yeah, it's definitely the voiceover work. In the article that I'm reading, it says it's going to be short cartoons that will air on the new Star Wars Kids portal at lol.disney.com, as well as the YouTube channel Star Wars Kids, and there will be 6 shorts. So it cannot be the full movie, but they'll take certain scenes and animate them, which it kind of bums me out. I wish they just would do a full movie. I don't agree.
Well, it depends on how.
I don't agree with like what Lucasfilm said, that this will be a fun and educational add-on designed to help older fans welcome kids in their lives to explore the galaxy far, far away. Like, you don't have to put educational in it to make people like watch it.
No. You don't need that. Just sit them down and make them watch the movie.
Yeah, but people are a lot more forgiving when it comes to animation.
True.
Yes.
I don't know. My hype for it went down maybe like 40%, but I'm still interested to see because the animation is clean. The animation,
and
I'm
interested what side they take on whether who shot first.
You know they're going to take Han's. You know they're going to take. They're not going to take Han's side because canonically it was Han, but they'll never admit it because he's quote unquote the good.
The
guy.
best thing they could do is like cut away and just have like laser blasters shooting, and then they come back and it's like it's all done and over with.
Yeah. Someone screams Chewie's name and he goes Han. He looks to his side and they just hear the blaster go off. You go back and Greedo's dead. You know. That's the best way.
Because if they're going for kids, they can't show violence.
Speaking of a show that's not going to show violence, or a movie rather, DC, because they have no idea what the hell they're doing, is developing a Blue Beetle movie.
Because that's what the kids want.
That's what the kids are clamoring for. A Blue Beetle movie based off of not the OG Ted Kord Blue Beetle, but the new aged Jaime Reyes, Hispanic American hero, Blue Beetle, which I hope they have Ted Kord in this movie, if it even gets off the ground, because DC just says they're making stuff. Like, it's the most loosest thing in the world. And it's just like, it's not like hearsay. It's like, no, it's official from DC. Like, yeah, we're doing a Harley Quinn Joker Mad Love movie. That was like a week ago. Oh, no, we're doing Birds of Prey, where it's going to have Harley Quinn, and she's going to have a relationship with Poison Ivy because we're so progressive. Oh no, we're going to do this spinoff here and spinoff there. So with DC, it's like when I see a trailer, I know it's real, and that's when I'll start actually paying attention to it. They just say things, they just do things, and they're like a dog chasing cars. They wouldn't want to know what to do with one if they just caught it, you know?
Right. I got a little worried here, but looking at who will be writing it, and it says Scarface. I'm like, what? But it turns out they're remaking Scarface as well. So, you know, the trash continues.
The trash continues. Speaking of trash, Netflix cancels Daredevil after 3 seasons. The writing's on the wall, man.
1 week later, Disney announces Daredevil
rebooted. Yeah. Oh, no. Like I said about Iron Fist, and like I said about Luke Cage, you know, the porch light came on, the street lights came on, and Disney's saying, all right, kids, it's time to come home. That's all it is.
Time to come home.
Time to come home. Street lights on, the dinner's cooking. I know you're playing outside with your friends, but it's time to come home. So that's what they're doing. They're yanking all this stuff out of Netflix because they're either going to be on the Disney Plus, which is their streaming service, or fingers crossed, they'll actually let these characters play with some of the heroes on the big screen.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
No.
A Defenders film would do a lot better than
you need those
show.
fingers to do other things. You need those fingers to work.
No. Then I'll cross my toes because I don't want these characters to not exist anymore. Because Daredevil's awesome. Luke Cage is awesome.
I don't know if they're not going to exist. They're just going to have their own little TV world.
I don't understand the marketing logic to where these shows that have like proven themselves on television can never graduate to film. You know what I mean? Like, that's so not cool to me. Like the CW. Yeah, you know,
it's Hollywood. There is. If I've heard it a few times about how there is such a distinct there was, but it could still be around between. They thought that working on television is beneath film actors. That's why you don't see a lot of film. I mean, it's changed a lot, but it was at a time that you don't see film actors go into TV, and then there was like TV actors who couldn't quite make it into film. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense, and I do understand that is and was and probably still is a stigma in Hollywood.
You just don't understand.
It just seems super unfair. Like the guy who plays Arrow on the CW deserves to be Oliver Queen in a Justice League movie.
Right.
He's put, like I wouldn't want any other Green Arrow. You know what I mean? It's like seeing Grant Gustin on as the Flash on the CW, and then seeing the guy who played the Flash in Justice League is so jarring to me. Like, come on, just let the guy do it. He can act. Give him a shot, And it's like with the Marvel thing, it's like if they were to take Daredevil and recast Daredevil and put him on the big screen, I think that would be not cool to the guy who plays Daredevil now, who's putting in the work and can act.
Right. Or they get Ben Affleck back.
I think Ben Affleck needs to go lay down somewhere, dude. Like, he needs to reassess his
lay down and write the sequel to his Daredevil. It'll retcon all the other Daredevils.
Yeah, man. Crisis of Infinite Daredevils.
Turns out Daredevil can now see, but he still has his superpowers.
What? That's busted, dude. He's so powerful. He's gonna take over Hell's Kitchen. Oh man, we still got a lot of news to go, so let's fly through it. I'm just gonna do do this other Marvel thing. Marvel Studios is developing a Shang-Chi movie. That's the Master of Kung Fu for my comic book heads out there. You know why to be excited for it. I don't really need to go into it any deeper than that. Rocksteady co-founder denies that they're making a Superman game, which I think is funny. Because it's like, guys, stop asking us. We're not doing it. You know what I mean? I think that's hilarious that they have to come out and Rocksteady has been quiet since like Batman Arkham Knight. I don't think they've made anything. They've been working on whatever they're working on. They've been working on that for like 3-4 years now.
Right.
And they just won't tell anybody what it is. And the Game Awards is like this Thursday or something like that, which is a big show where a lot of reveals are going to happen. And everyone's like, Rocksteady, so you're gonna finally drop that Superman on us? It's like, stop telling people we're doing it, because we're not. It's like being in grade school and his kids lying on you saying that you got Mortal Kombat 2, and all the kids are walking up like, Mike G, when you're done, can I borrow Mortal Kombat 2? It's like, I don't own it. Like, who keeps telling you I have it? You know what I mean? I just think that's funny. For those who are interested in Anthem, there's a closed beta going on from December 8th to December 9th.
3 people go, yay!
Yay! And there was much rejoicing. For my Tekken heads, there was a trailer that revealed the final roster for the Season Pass 2, which of course has Negan from The Walking Dead. It had this really long trailer that was like a scene for scene from The Walking Dead. And those who love The Walking Dead think it's ultra hype, and that's cool. Not for me, because I stopped caring about The Walking Dead years ago. But the characters they announced was Craig Marduk, which I'm okay with. Armor King, which I'm super thumbs up because I used to play Armor King back in Tekken 2.
Right.
And Julia Chang, who's a Twitch streamer, which is very, very funny. Julia Chang, not a real life Twitch streamer. Julia Chang's an old school character from Tekken. I think she started like in Tekken 3. She's an old school Tekken character, but her new profession now is like a streamer. You know, she's a video game streamer or a fight, which is so heavy. And I love it. I think it's amazing. So before every match, she checks her little iPad. Stream ready.
Oh my gosh.
Are you guys ready to watch me fight? And all her numbers go up and her followers go up. It's so on the nose. I love it. So Tekken 7 just keeps getting better and better. And I'm just going to wait until it's the full roster and it's like $20 and I can just play Tekken in peace. And the last thing I want to talk about for this episode,
here we go,
is Fallout 76.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, if you're a fan of this show and you've listened to a few episodes, I'm sure you understand where me and Winter are coming from when it comes to the Fallout series. To where I can't speak for Winter, but I am a huge fan of Fallout.
I love Fallout too.
You know?
I love Fallout. I think it's better than Elder Scrolls.
I prefer Fallout. I'm more excited for a Fallout game than I am for Elder Scrolls game. I agree. So, needless to say, we both were kind of iffy on Fallout 76 from the beginning, right? Because it was so unconventional.
No, I was different. I believe, if I remember correctly, that I was all for it. I'm like, I love the idea of a Fallout Online. And I that's been something I remember saying for Fallout 3. Like, I want a Fallout Online experience. It could be like an ESO style Elder Scrolls type thing where only they pasted all Fallout references. I would play that,
and I don't mind
it. Yeah,
and it's like a part of me still wants to play Fallout 76 because it's Fallout. It's a Fallout experience. You're walking around.
But a good a good review of this was like Fallout 76 feels like a mod for Fallout 4. And the problem is that mods for Fallout 4 made it look so much better to the point where I think it was good that a reviewer said that they could have just used the work that modders did for Fallout 4 to make it look that good and use it for Fallout 76. But people are going, well, but they didn't, and now they have like Fallout New Vegas style crummy graphics. But
the thing about Fallout 76, and I've been this whole entire microcosm of failure that this game has kind of endured since it released is very fascinating. Like, people have gone into the back end of the system and found that the game is using old assets from Skyrim and Fallout 4, which is not a good look.
Skyrim,
$60 game. Yes. Skyrim, assets from Skyrim. The game was made like 10 years ago, and there's just a lot of bad juju around this game. I've been watching hours upon hours of gameplay for this because I'm playing retroactively through other people because I just don't want to put money into it at its stage right now. And it's just every single time the guy plays, the game crashes. Every single time the guy plays, he loses. He just loses like his camp. His camp just disappears. You know what I'm saying? His armors disappear. Some people can't be hurt. Some people can do 50% more damage. Some people do 100 times more damage. It's just really messy. It's very haphazardly put together. But the big news about the game this week is what they're calling Baggate. And pretty much the story lays out like this. So there was a Fallout Collector's Edition that came with the big old Fallout power armor. I think it's the T-51 armor helmet. And the helmet came in a very nice canvas, kind of like bowling ball bag. It looked really nice, right? But when you bought the game, you bought the collector's edition, you open up the collector's edition, and it's not canvas anymore. It's a nylon bag that's very flimsy, and it looks like the when you buy Cracker Jack and it's that silvery reflective, insulator that you just tear open to get to the Cracker Jack. It looks like that. It looks cheap.
The way my friend put it, like it's like the bag that they give you for signing up at the gym.
Yeah. The bag itself costs more than the act of opening it.
And how much was the Power Suit edition, by the way, that came with this?
It was like $200-$300 or something nutty like that. It was like $200. And so one unhappy Fallout player texted their customer service line and said, "Hey, what's up with this bag? This is not what you advertised." And the customer service guy on the line was like, "Look, they didn't anticipate the bags to cost so much. And honestly, I don't see them doing anything about it. So tough luck, guy." It's pretty much what he told him. And of course, that went ultra viral, right? "What's up with this crappy bag, man? You guys are bait and switch. This is almost, there isn't anything that says that this bag may not be included. This is like a legit part of the collector's edition. Bait and switch, bait and switch, bait and switch." And so Bethesda, in their brilliance, decided to say, "Okay, we'll give you 500 in-game currency for those who are upset that you didn't get this thing that we promised you." And pretty much 500 in-game currency, it's like less than half of $1 of real money. It's pretty much telling them to shut the hell up. Right?
Yep.
And everybody was kind of salty about that. But then it comes out that they were actually giving out the legit bags behind
now
the
these were
scenes
different bags. Hold on.
It is a different bag. It's still a nice bag. It's a very nice canvas bag that they were giving out to industry influencers.
Yeah.
But they were just too expensive to make in bulk and mass. And that set the whole thing back up, right? Everybody got back heated. Like, what? So I got to be a YouTube streamer with over 100K followers to get a bag?
Yeah.
Now?
Get over
not get what I paid for? Get over it, I guess.
Buy some more. Buy the DLC when it comes out.
Yeah, buy the DLC bag when it comes out for in-game currency. So after all that, Bethesda finally bit the bullet and was like, "Fine, email our tech support and we'll send you a copy. We'll send you that particular bag that the influencers got." So they're just going to have to do this. They're going to lose so much money just making these stupid bags to give out to anyone who bought a collector's edition.
Right.
Wow.
Now, here's something. So there's a couple of things to bring up in this Fallout 76 fiasco. Do you recall if the beta, it was not open for everyone to play, but it was for people who pre-ordered the game?
It wasn't an open beta. I think it was only for people who pre-ordered the game.
So the point that I've been hearing several times from the same person actually, was you pretty much paid to be a game tester for Bethesda in their beta.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that's a whole other level of like skipping the like games that are in perpetual beta or perpetual alpha stage. It's a whole nother level that I can't fully grasp at this moment. And then also throw in that why did they not put Fallout on Steam? Why did they use their own account? And have you looked into that reason?
Yeah, I heard the reason, but it didn't stick in my brain because it was BS. Honestly,
okay.
They're using their own launcher and they're not using Steam.
Well, a good argument that I've heard by one YouTuber, I wish I could remember his name, was because of the requirements that Steam has to offer refunds. Okay.
They knew they were putting out crap, dude.
Yeah.
They knew it.
I think they're yeah.
They knew it, dude.
Yeah, I mean I have no any statements to give in favor of Bethesda right now.
So to
particularly
go
when they
back
said
to
that this is the most they've ever worked on a game. Say,
everybody
everybody pitched in. That's
Everybody pitched.
including the people that run ESO Online, the people that made Fallout New Vegas, the main, like everybody. And this is what happens when you have everybody in it. You have a something that looks like a mod for Fallout 4.
This is actually the worst because here's what it is, man. Is to go back to what you were talking about, where it's like everyone pretty much had to pay to be a game tester for this game. And with betas, that's pretty much a beta at its most is supposed to be kind of like a stress test for their servers, right? See, okay, it's not supposed to be you're actually testing out the game's stability,
right?
You know what I mean? Like the game itself, you're just supposed to be testing out if the internet connection is strong enough, are the packets of information are traveling right the way they're supposed to. You're not supposed to be debugging this game that they rolled out 6 months early because they wanted to catch holiday sales. You know what I mean? And I see Fallout 76 in itself as an experiment. You know what I mean? Because I can bet money that when Fallout 5 eventually drops, it's going to have some kind of online component. Maybe not as heavy as this, but they pretty much charged people $60 for an experiment. You know what I mean? And just said, throw together some voice actors, throw together some, you recycle those assets. Just make a new game, just out of the scraps of our old games. Don't put any kind of real money into it because we're going to make it all back because it says Fallout on the title. And we're going to experiment with this to see if we can fine tune this online experience because, you know, the new game that's coming out with Bethesda, what is it called? Like Starfield or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's Starfield. And
so that,
you know, and I think it's, what is it? They're also saying they're working on Elder Scrolls, or like they hinted at it. And
I just think they should stick to what they know. Like, guys, like Bethesda is such a funky little company because their other games are so well polished. Like Prey was really well done. Doom was really well done. You know what I mean? But in a Bethesda like Elder Scrolls game, the combat is not what's sticking with you. The graphics are never what's sticking with you. It's the
story, I would say.
It's the story, exploration, but when you take all that away and say multiplayer, and you negate what makes the game good, who are you marketing this to? Because people either love or hate this kind of game because it's slow paced. It's a slow burn. It's always been that way.
Well, it's not just a slow burn, but I would say there's a lot to do in the game. Well, I guess so that, it is a slow burn to get through the whole thing. But what I liked about Fallout was you can go underground and there's a whole ecosystem or ecosystem of like different rooms to go into, or like you can go into people's houses and you find like how they've survived and you just develop the story along. And it's like that could survive. I think what they're going to have to end up doing is having two different Fallouts going, where they're not going to do a Fallout 5. I predict they're going to do like Fallout 6 and just like skip 5.
Dang.
And then they're going to have to do, well, here's a free to play online game called Fallout Universe or something like that.
Yeah. Now, you know, I'm foreseeing that the next Skyrim is going to be a PS5 game.
Next Skyrim, or
the next Elder Scrolls rather, because they name them different every single time. But the next Elder Scrolls game, high chance is going to be a PS5 game.
Elder Scrolls Fraggly Rock.
So, Fraggleth Rocketh. So do you foresee us not seeing a Fallout 5 until like PlayStation 6?
No. They're gonna have to do it a lot sooner because this was a garbage. Like I think that they're gonna do Elder Scrolls first, or there's so many other things that could happen that it's hard to say. It's still too early for me. I would predict that they're gonna throw out. It's gonna have like a No Man's Sky sort of scenario where they throw out so many patches to the game that it becomes playable and then awesome again.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that happens, then we'll probably have to wait a while. But it's definitely Elder Scrolls is going to have to come out before they make another Fallout.
Yeah, because I think what their idea was is that we'll keep them sated with Fallout 76 until PS5 comes out, which is in the next couple of years, and then we'll do Elder Scrolls. And then after Elder Scrolls runs its complete course, we'll bring back Fallout with Fallout 5. But because Fallout 6 was such a colossal failure, they're going to have to wait anyway because they're going to have to wash everyone's mouth out of the gross taste that is Fallout 76. You know, so they have to wait anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, especially if they're making Fallout 5 from scratch. But then I will bet money that in Fallout 4 you can actually find assets from Fallout 3. You know.
Yeah.
How much graphically did it change from 3 to 4? Not really.
I think we'll need to look at what the future what they're going to do this month and the month and January in regards to patches to see if they're just going to abandon the game or if they're going to do. Because as far as I know, there has been no response. If there's been anything, it hasn't reached the news sources I look at. So, like I said, it's still open for anything to happen.
Like I am so easy. This kind of feels like Marvel Infinite to me, where it's like I'm so eager to support you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm so eager to give you money when you deserve it, but I can't support something that's obviously built to take my money and not give me a actual complete in running experience. It's like I really wanted to support Marvel Infinite because I love Marvel vs. Capcom, but I just could not bring myself to buy it because of its out of its in-game inconsistencies and its out of game inconsistencies. And Fallout 76 is the exact same thing. It's like you said, if they can, I hope that they continue to support this game. They patch it completely. They shore up the ship. They patch it all the way through. They give us some expansions. They elaborate on the solo missions just as well as the multiplayer stuff. If they show improve and be like, hey guys, we're still supporting this game, then maybe down the line when it's not $60, I'll support it. But for now, it's like I can't support it at its stage right now. Even though I love Fallout, and it's probably like one of my favorite top 3 games of all time, I can't support it right now just because of the state it's in, the state of it, as it were. Oh man, so
that's the news.
Good news. That's the news. There it goes. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to playing some Rocket League. The weekends have been pretty good playing that. Working on the next script project. I feel like the more I'm writing the scripts, and I'm also reading this series that's written by a podcaster and writer called Ben Blacker. I think he's teamed up with a guy also. So there's Ben Acker and Ben Blacker, and they write together. Yeah, he wrote. Nice. He's writing a series for DC Vertigo called Hex Wives, which it would be something I never would have picked up to read by myself, but it's very interesting. It's essentially talking. It's a group of witches that have been lulled to thinking that they're housewives in the 50s, and their husbands they don't realize are the hunters of witches, and they've realized that witches just reincarnate over time or become back every generation. So this is their way of going, well, we can stop bloodshed if we just trick them into thinking they're no longer witches. That's what I'm getting at so far. And there's just something nagging in the back of their minds, I have a sense I want to kill. Yes,
I remember Remember, Simba. Remember who you
Right.
are.
And it's dealing with themes that I normally wouldn't have picked out myself to read about, but it is interesting. Yeah.
Good, man. Good. I'm looking forward to the Game Awards this week, which is going to show a lot of trailers for new games and good, juicy stuff we can talk about next week on
When is that?
podcast. I'm looking forward. I think it's on Thursday.
Dang it.
I think it's on Thursday. Or tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm also looking forward to all the trailers that Marvel's supposed to drop. So the Spider-Man Homecoming 2 trailer, Far From Home, is supposed to drop on Saturday. And sometime between tomorrow and Friday, we're supposed to get the Avengers 4 trailer. So I'm very psyched to see what Disney and Marvel brings to the table. Not much video games wise. I'm in kind of a gaming lull right now. There's nothing really out that I want to play. There's nothing coming out that I want to play towards the end of the year. So, and that helps me focus on the show, which we're going to be having a new run of episodes for the month of December. So that should be coming out sometime tomorrow or Thursday. So look forward to that. And I'm just looking forward to closing out this year strong. Absolutely.
Well, cool. I know what you mean, Gene.
Doing my thing. Mean Gene Okerlund, dog. You guys have no idea who Mean Gene is, dog.
Or Gene. Me, or what? Gene the Dancing Machine.
Gene the Dancing Machine. See, we're schooling them this time.
Okay, let's close this out. Yeah, check me out on Trash Monk III on all social media. Send your I'm looking for recommendations for original Nintendo games that you enjoyed for a project that I'm working on. So original Nintendo games, NES games that you would like to have another or like be resurrected and be talked about for like a 10-minute or 11-minute time frame.
Mr. Trash Monk, can I
yes.
Can I make a suggestion? Can I
Akari
Warriors on the Nintendo?
Okay.
Yes, please. Play Akari Warriors.
Simon's Quest,
please. Yes.
Okay. Easy there.
That's all I ask. This is all
I think the first one I might for this project is to look into Friday the 13th game.
That's a good one too. Are Your Friends Are Dead? Game Over? Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, man. So sweet. And if you love this show and want to support us monetarily, please check out our Patreon on mastersofthenerdiversecast.com, where with the simple payment of $1 a month, you can put money towards this show and make it bigger, better, and longer. Well, maybe not longer, but stronger. Mm-hmm. Stronger like a bull. And if you want to support us non-monetarily, you can always like our content, subscribe to our channels, and comment on our posts. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G.
And I've been Winter Trash Monk III.
And we will always ask you to take that one step beyond.